What about between Benfica and Inter Milan? This one scoreless at the half before Inter got a couple goals in the second. Barella in the 51st minute off a header, and then Lukaku on a penalty in the 82nd minute. Jan, still with us, and I know you had a close eye on this one. What was the difference in the second half as Inter were able to pull away, Jan?
Well, more or less the goals, because the Benfica losing this weekend against Porto. That's one of the big games in Portugal. It was 0-0 at halftime, not a lot of chances. And then a brilliant cross, and Barella, I'm not sure how I pronounce that thing, doing that. And I've been impressed with Benfica. I think a lot of the people have been impressed with them. Only Napoli have scored more goals than them. But they weren't really at it today. They had a chance at the 1-0. They could have come back. They were a bit unlucky in a chaotic situation in front of the Inter goal, and then there was a VAR decision, and up come Lukaku scoring, and they're winning 2-0. Good win for Inter this, and Inter getting close to getting into the semi-finals are quite impressive, and you've seen the fall they've got in Serie A this season.
The Lukaku penalty, some doubt there. What do you think?
It's tough for Joao Mario because it seems to touch the leading arm first and then off the side of his face and onto, and I think this is the damning evidence once you see it, his arm away from his body, higher than his head, sticking out there, and then that becomes, what is the arm doing out there? That's not a natural position. Once the referee is brought to VAR and he sees it on the screen, it's very difficult not to call a penalty under those circumstances. Again, the arm is all the way up here, away from his body, ends up being a penalty. And Lukaku was very happy to score, by the way. Yes. And so was Inter. I think they know and understand the magnitude of that second goal, because I just don't think they believe that Benfica is good enough to go to Milan and score a couple of goals against them. The Inter had been good defensively. I think in their mind, not just that Lukaku score is a big deal, but just the second goal in itself, I think for them it means a whole lot more. And it was clear to see in their celebrations.
Going back to Italy for the second leg, Craig, you think this one's done and dusted?
I would imagine so. I'm just surprised by this result in Lisbon, because Benfica have looked good in this competition. And Inter, as Jan mentioned, are way off the pace in Serie A. So I'm surprised. I mean, they had a lot of shots at goal. They had a lot of pot shots at goal, Benfica, but were pretty slack in the final third and got punished for it. So I don't see Benfica overturning that in Milan. And Inter can sit in and soak up the pressure, and that's generally what they do pretty well.
Jan, Inter, after Lukaku's goal, were celebrating like they were already in the semi-finals. Is that premature?
I think it's a bigger chance that Benfica will turn it around in the second leg than Bayern. Because Benfica has shown in this tournament with Roger Schmidt's team that he can score goals. You're just wondering now where the Bayern goals will come from. Will Choupo-Moting maybe come back and so on? So I think it's fair enough for Inter to go to Lisbon. I think this was a surprise result. I mean, if I put my money on this game, I would have said for a 1-0 or a 2-1 win for Benfica. So I think this was a great result for Inter. I'm not sure that they, after playing 1-1 this weekend in a lousy game in Serie A, I don't think they expected to win there either.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.